Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application on this day. The music in the background is Blueshift by Catas and Kasger, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's get on with the show, shall we? Today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, October 24th, 2016. In 2014, the China National Space Administration launched Chang'e 5T1, an experimental lunar mission which would loop behind the moon and return to Earth. In 2008, the so-called Bloody Friday occurred, which saw many of the world's stock exchanges experience the worst declines in their history, with drops of about 10% in most indices. In 2007, Chang'e 1, the first satellite in the Chinese lunar exploration program, was launched from the Zhaishang Satellite Launch Center. In 2005, Hurricane Wilma made landfall in Florida and resulted in 35 direct and 26 indirect fatalities, and also caused $20.6 billion in damages. In 2004, Arsenal Football Club lost to Manchester United, ending a row of 49 unbeaten matches, which is the current record in the Premier League. In 2003, Concorde made its last commercial flight. Yep, that's all well and good, but how is this breaking news? In 1998, the launch of Deep Space One Comet/Asteroid mission occurred. In 1992, the Toronto Blue Jays became the first Major League Baseball team based outside the United States to win the World Series. In 1990, Italian Prime Minister Giulio Andreotti revealed to the Italian Parliament the existence of Gladio, which was the Italian stay-behind clandestine paramilitary North Atlantic Treaty Organization, aka NATO Army, which was implicated in false flag terrorist attacks which implicated communists and anarchists as part of the strategy of tension from the late 1960s to early 1980s. In 1986, Nizar Hindawi was sentenced to 45 years in prison, which is the longest sentence handed down by a British court, for the attempted bombing of an El Al flight at Heathrow Airport. After this verdict, the United Kingdom broke diplomatic relations with Syria, claiming that Hindawi was assisted by Syrian officials. In 1980, the government of Poland legalized the Solidarity Trade Union, which is the first of such a union in a Warsaw Pact country that was not controlled by a communist party, and would eventually contain 1/3 of the total working age population of the country. In 1997, Veterans Day was observed on the fourth Monday in October for the seventh and final time, and would be observed on November 11th starting the following year. In 1975, in Iceland, 90% of women took part in a national strike and refused to work in protest of gaps in gender equality. In 1973, the Yom Kippur War ended. In 1964, Northern Rhodesia gained independence from the United Kingdom, becoming the Republic of Zambia. Southern Rhodesia, however, remained a colony until the next year with the unilateral Declaration of Independence. In 1960, the Netherlands catastrophe occurred, in which an R-16 ballistic missile exploded on the launch pad at the Soviet Union's Baikonur Cosmodrome space facility. Over 100 people died, including Field Marshal Mitrofan Nederland, whose death was reported to have occurred during a plane crash. Oh, Russia. In 1954, Dwight D. Eisenhower pledged United States support to South Vietnam. In 1949, the cornerstone of the United Nations headquarters was laid. In 1947, animator Walt Disney testified before the House Un-US Activities Committee, naming Disney employees he believed to be communists. In 1946, a camera on board the V-2 No. 13 rocket took the first photograph of Earth from outer space. In 1945, the United Nations was founded. In 1943, during World War II, the Provisional Government of Free India formally declared war on Britain and the United States of America. Yes, that's right, India was part of the Axis powers. I actually didn't know that until I wrote this script. In 1930, a bloodless coup d'etat in Brazil ousted Washington Luiz Pereira de Sousa, who was the last president of the First Republic. Getulio Vargas was then installed as a provisional president. In 1929, the Black Thursday stock market crash on the New York Stock Exchange, aka NYSE, occurred. In 1926, Harry Houdini performed for his final time at the Garrick Theater in Detroit. In 1901, Annie Edson Taylor became the first person to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. In 1861, the first transcontinental telegraph line across the U.S. was completed, spelling the N for the 18-month-old Pony Express. In 1857, Sheffield FC, the world's oldest association football club still in operation, was founded in Sheffield, England. In 1851, William Lassell discovered the moons Umbriel and Ariel orbiting Uranus. In 1795, the partitions of Poland occurred, in which the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was completely divided among Austria, Prussia, and Russia. In 1648, the Peace of Westphalia was signed, ending the 30 Years' War. In 1590, John White, the governor of the Second Roanoke colony, returned to England after an unsuccessful search for the lost colonists. In 1390, the Treaty of Bretigny was ratified at Calais, marking the end of the first phase of the 100 Years' War. And in 1260, Chartres Cathedral was dedicated in the presence of King Louis IX in France, and is now a United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, aka UNESCO, World Heritage Site. Births: Arbery Drake Graham, 1986. Deaths: Rosa Parks, 2005. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. You can also rate 5 thumbs and subscribe if you do so wish. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, I am Aeoxander, and you are you. Toodles! Which was the Italian stable...